Shall we start with your team, Scott?
Go for it. Why not?
I put it up on the screen now. For anyone that's struggling to see it, although it's up there. You've got Callum Ward in goals.
Yep.
You've got Philip Lisa at right back. Fernandez and Finlay as your centre halves, and Milne at left back. Milne of Hearts, of course.
Well, look, the goalies. I don't think any goalie's really been outstanding this year, but Motherwell's clean sheet record
It's incredible,
the run of clean sheets that they had, and he's obviously been key to how Askew wants to play out. So he's been as good as any. I mean, listen, Schwolo's been good at Hearts, but it's had a couple of mistakes. Jack Butland's actually been decent for Rangers as well.
Actually, Jack Butland was really good earlier this season.
People are saying Butland was Rangers' best player this season, but again, he's had a few that you'd expect him to save. So no, I'm happy with Callum Ward. Lisa at right back. Right back was tough, Jacko, wasn't it?
Had to be creative.
Yeah.
Lisa's the one, every time I see Falkirk, he really impresses me. He's really good.
Brilliant. On loan for Swansea, I think bigger clubs will be looking at him. He's played every position across the back for Falkirk. But he always plays. They've actually got a brilliant right back in Keelan Adams. But Lisa's no jumped ahead of him.
Midfield, Raskin and Devlin as your sort of two.
Hold on.
Oh, sorry, go on. Sorry.
You're just going through Scots and
Scott's team, and then we'll come to yours if you want. Unless you want to do it differently. No. He's such a prima donna. Is he going to be like this in America? The two holding, Raskin and Devlin as your sort of two holding, and Benjamin Negrin just in front.
I knew Negrin might be slightly controversial, but his goal return, I keep saying this on here. I mean, Celtic fans.
Hold on. Who's your other sitting midfielder?
Cammy Devlin and Raskin.
Yeah. So that stuff you were just saying about Callum McGregor, he's no making your team.
No, not this season.
Right. Can he take him out of the team?
No, he can.
Just say that.
Can he? But he's not been as good
he's
as...
no making your team.
He's not been as good as Cammy Devlin or Raskin this season. And look, we had to do it quick, as you've said. Elijah Just's really unfortunate. Not again, I have to make that point. But Negrin, as I say, in Celtic fans, they've been critical of him for whatever reason. They don't feel as if he's contributes enough in a midfield three. I just think purely for goals for midfield, how can you
19 now?
How can you leave him out?
And then finally your front three of Braga, Shankland and Mazwanisi.
That was probably the easiest. But Mikey Moore's unlucky. He's been really good at Rangers for an 18-year-old kid first season. But no, Braga's arguably been the player of the season. He'll be in contention for Player of the Year awards. He's been a revelation at Hearts. Maswanisi's been vital to Motherwell. Brilliant goal return. Again, can play through the middle or wide. And Shankland, as much as he's had an injury, obviously, he's now back. But his influence on that Hearts team at the start of the season, to get them into the position that they're in. And even since he's come back in the last couple of games, he's immediately impacted games and had a big saying game. So I think the front three pretty much pick themselves, unless Jacko disagrees.
I do.
Let's move on.
I love and see what I love about what you've just done there, right? Is you've said, so here's my team here, Callum McGregor's sensational now, he's done. And then what you've done is you've given name checks to about 10 other players. So that it looks as if
Moore and Just
incredible. You know what you've done there.
Honestly, I'm happy with that team.
Singing the Blues predicts Keith's team will be 11 Hearts players. I don't think it will be.
No,
because I've got it here.
Yeah,
let's put it up on the screen.
Don't know if you've got my formation quite right.
Okay, well let's
I might go the John Barnes 4-2-2-2.
Interesting. Well, we've got Callum Ward and goals. You both agree on that?
Yeah, I think. Look, I agree with Scott. If you look around, Jack Butland's been really good, but he's not been first season Jack Butland. I think he's getting his form back and he looks far better, far more comfortable. But there have been mistakes along the way. Listen, there have been mistakes with Callum Ward, but that's been more to do with having to adapt to the role that Jens Peter Askew is asking for him to play. And to be fair to him, what an effort he's made. His distribution has been top class, and he's made a lot of good saves. And I would give an honourable mention to McCracken at Dundee. who I think's been excellent every time I've seen him.
I think statistically he's made the most saves this season, McCracken.
Well, there you go. But Callum Ward, for me, had most clean sheets. Or is it the most?
I think Motherwell.
Extraordinary record. And I just, what he's done by putting another string in his bow in terms of the way that Motherwell play the game, I think that made him the obvious choice. The not so obvious choice at right back was Stephen O'Donnell, and mostly because he's been playing as a centre back for so much of the season. But he's so versatile. Many times have you seen, and this is a guy, by the way, that most people had down as a bit of a journeyman. You get into the Scotland squad, the set-up for the Euros, when we went down to Wembley, thought he was terrific there. But he's just one of these guys that people thought that was his absolute peak. And in terms of what he's done in his career, it probably has been. Then you see this Stephen O'Donnell, at his age, going into this new way of playing football at Motherwell. He's been a sensation. And I've lost count of the amount of times you've seen him hitting 40-yard diagonals into the box, picking out Maswanisi and all that. So for me, I'm moving him back to right back.
Right, okay.
Because I was struggling a bit. I think your shout was a good shout, but I think that's not a bad shout.
You're right about O'Donnell. Most people thought he was done.
Yeah.
He's excelled. He's excelled in this system. It's been incredible.
He's nearly set life.
Then I'm going Halkett and Fernandes.
Yep.
Halkett for me has been, I think, I didn't want to break up the partnership with Finlay because Finlay's been brilliant, and there's a balance there left side.
It's a toss-up for me between the two of them.
Halkett and Finlay have been, the absolute rock that Hearts have built their season upon. Halkett, I think, is probably the most unlucky player to not have made that recent Scotland squad. I'm struggling a little bit with it. I really thought that he deserves a consideration for the World Cup squad. I think he's been absolutely superb. Fernandes, self-explanatory. He didn't start the season particularly well, but he's become such a threat in both boxes. Defensively, a lot more secure than he was, and even when he came into the team at first, he was a little bit problematic at the back. What he offered in the opposition box was almost impossible to defend against.
I think he could make Rangers a fortune. Sorry, I'm digressing.
No, it's interesting that we're hearing now, John McGlynn let slip about likes of Feyenoord and a couple of other European clubs. Leverkusen. People are watching. I think that's where the eyes are on.
Mm-hmm.
I think people are looking at him as potentially, I've got to say the next big thing. The guy's 6'7", of course he is, but that's I'm happy with that too. I have gone Kieran Tierney.
Well, Scott, you were getting a bit of stick in the comments for not. But Peter says Harry Milne over Kieran Tierney is laughable. Why wouldn't Milne be in the Scotland squad then?
I think Milne's been sensational.
I agree. I think it's been really good.
He has been sensational, but
and by the way, he's been sensational. Not just at left back. He's been used at right wing in certain games. When Hearts went to Ibrox at the start of the season and won. Obviously, Russell Martin was still in charge. Derek McInnes sprung a surprise playing Harry Milne at right wing, and there was tactical reasons for it, but it worked an absolute treat. I think Harry Milne's been brilliant. Look,
but he's not Kieran Tierney.
Well, Rebel says KT definitely, Keith. He'd hardly played, was unfit until his return. Now he's back to Player of the Year for Celtic for me.
I think he's been good, but he's not played a lot of 90 minutes. Kieran Tierney, is he? I mean, he's come off in a lot of games.
Well, Zuno says he's third in the league for assists overall, Kieran Tierney.
I think his assists
are good, aye.
No, I'm not going to, because I've got actually a line through Harry Milne, because that was my first. I was going to go Harry Milne. Then I thought about it, and this is meant with the best will in the world, because Harry Milne has been terrific, but he's not Kieran Tierney's levels.
Joe writes in, and I agree with Scott, it's beyond me why Clark keeps overlooking Harry Kane. I think he means Milne.
Have we found a Scottish fan?
Right, midfield, Keith.
Midfield, Raskin and McGregor are my sitters.
Yep.
Except I'm going to tell Raskin, don't think you're a number 6, get in front, get 30 yards up the pitch. And I've gone for Elijah Just. I've been more bold than Scotty.
As your playmaker.
He's been brilliant. Scotty said it. Scotty's embarrassed that he didn't put Elijah Just in his starter. Yeah.
No, Cammy Devlin in your team. Cammy Devlin.
For the only reason, because I've right up until Cammy Devlin got injured, he was and I said it 2 or 3 times on this show, my player of the year. So yes, I love Cammy Devlin. I think he's been absolutely terrific. I don't think he's back up to full speed, and I think that it's been such a prolonged period for him that, and you'll see that I've got a different argument that I'll make for Lon Shankland. I'm not contradicting myself, but I'm looking at what's available. And Cammy Devlin, for being out of that long, I think there are other players that I would just say get in front of. Of course, I've been one of the guys blowing Cammy Devlin's trumpet. What?
There's a revelation.
But yeah, I can't. In all honesty, sit in this studio and say all the things. This is the difference between me and you, right? We're sitting in here, we're talking about Cal McGregor, we're praising the guy up to the nines, and then you take him out. It doesn't make your starting 11. So Cammy Devlin's going to be on my bench, and Elijah Just. I'm sorry, but if you're not paying attention, if you've been even remotely playing, kind of just watching Motherwell highlights, even if you don't need to be watching the 90 minutes, if you just watch a highlights package for Elijah Just this season, you should be on the phone to your chief scout going, can we get a full report on this boy? Elijah Just has been, and he's a slippery wee guy. You'd think a strong Scottish gust of wind would knock him over. He has been sensational. What he does on the ball, what he does off the ball, the leading the press, even physically, he rats into stuff. When you look at that, you don't expect it from him. I think he's been a real standout performer.
Could you see him at either side of the Old Firm?
Yes, all day long.
Okay.
Going to be interesting.
Aye, you think so?
I think so.
Your front three, Keith?
My front three. Well, what did I tell you? You've got my formation wrong.
Oh, sorry.
So I want Raskin McGregor, then I want Just and Mikey Moore.
Right, got you.
And I want them playing behind a front two of Braga and Shankland. And by the way, my team knocks your team over all day long.
No chance.
So there's Keith's team up on the screen if you're watching. There's Scott's team again.
Come on. Come on. Dan, I know we were trying to be fair and we all love Scott.
See for comedy, I want to wind Keith up, but I do think Keith's team would probably edge that. I think.
Edge it?
I think Mikey Moore and Just. It'd be hard to keep a
what are my attacking options here? I'm killing your defence.
No having them.
Well, there you go. If you're watching at home, who would win?
The reason that we've done that, by the way, is because the SPFL, they're
PFA Scotland.
Sorry, PFA Scotland Players Union. They're announcing their top flight team of the season. So it'll be interesting to see what's closer.
Marty says in the comments, who'd be your best and worst ref of the season? Name and shame. We could be here all night, Marty. I don't know if we want to open that particular clam.
It won't take too long to discuss the best one.
A couple of more comments. Gordon says, surely the Chairmanator has got to be in there. Chermiti? No, for the whole season. No. And Marzuno says, when Celtic win the League and Cup...
The Chairmanator. Let's not forget his initial nickname was Chernobyl.
Marzuno says, when Celtic win the League and Cup, this is going to look strange, considering none of these players have a trophy between them. He's feeling very confident. Green Machine says, Congreve at Dundee has been excellent.
He has. He's one that was on the two wide men at Dundee have been terrific. And big Ethan Hamilton.
Luke Graham as well.
Luke Graham. Dundee are actually, for me, the best side not in the top six. I don't know if they'll end up proving that on points, but they've got a lot of good players.
You're low him up. It says, Scott, your interview with Butland has been scuppered for not putting him in the team. Gav says, as a Hearts fan, I'd only have Braga and Milne in there. With injury to Devlin and Shanks, maybe just take them out of that squad. Alan says, Yang. Where's Yang? 9 goals this season for him. Second top scorer at Celtic, although not a particularly high bar.
That's a shout. I mean, I've heard people saying the last few days Yang would be a player of the year at Celtic, which is a sentence I never thought.
That's indicative of the mess that Celtic got themselves into, rather than, Yang has has made a big contribution this season. But let's be honest, Celtic fans, you don't want him in your starting 11. And by the way, if Celtic start next season and Yang's a first pick in the starting 11, I'll come back to me then and tell me how happy you are about it.